Hey peeps, Q here, Perfection Speed and Sport, down at the smallest body shop ever. So I went ahead and I was able to verify all my index marks from the previous video on this door here, the door hinges, and I'm all set to begin that. But before I begin that, I wanted to spend a little bit of time and talk about something that a lot of people don't know about, and something that I consider a tool if you're restoring a classic car, or if you bought a classic car. And a lot of times what the case is, you'll buy a project car that someone else took apart, and you buy it and all the parts are in boxes and you have no clue where anything goes. And the tool, which I consider these a tool that I'm talking about, are the factory assembly manuals. Now, a lot of people don't know that these are available, and they have them available for almost all the Mustangs. They're also available for GM products and a host of other cars that if you just go on Google and search out factory assembly manuals, you'll see what's available. Now, besides also the sheet metal, they also have it for the interior, they have it for wiring, and a lot of other ones. So again, I consider this a tool that is really, really helpful. It'll help you when you're going to assemble the car and making sure, that things are assembled properly, how they go. And not only that, it can help you with the body alignment. Now, just a quick example, I've seen a lot of guys have big issues with the hood here to the fender. And a lot of times it's either sitting high or it's sitting low. And yeah, there's ways to fix that, with doing metal work and bending the hood and so forth. But the biggest thing that I see is, believe it or not, if you go and you check the body assembly manual, where it gives you a really good breakdown here, you can see that there's supposed to be shims underneath the fender to the apron. And I've taken apart a bunch of cars, and it's a huge mistake. I see it all the time. Guys never put the shims in, and they never put them in the proper locations. And it could be a combination of shims in different locations, but the factory assembly manual gives you a breakdown, and they tell you exactly here where the shims go and the amount of shims that you can use that's acceptable, and it makes a huge difference. Now, if you look at my car, I have the height here. This panel to the fender is pretty much perfect, and that's because I use the shims. And, like I was saying, I knew that from taking apart cars that were never touched before, and I saw that there were shims under there, but a lot of guys don't know that. And they go ahead and they put it together, and then they wonder, how come my fender to hood doesn't sit properly? And putting the shims in is why. And you have to have that factory assembly manual so that you would know that. So there's just one example of where having this tool, the factory assembly manual, would be immensely helpful. And there's so much information in here about putting the car together, where bolts go, their locations, alignments, and so forth. And another great example is putting the doors together and adjusting the glass. There's a whole procedure in here. If you look and you had the book, it tells you exactly the torque specs for the bolts inside the door, and it gives you all this whole procedure here of how to get perfect alignment on the glass easily using this book. So again, I really think that if you're putting one of these cars together, or any car, and you can find this tool, the factory assembly manuals, there's no reason not to have it. And they're relatively cheap. I think that this one here was 18 bucks. Same thing, this one also was around $18. Now this one is for the interior. And again, a lot of good information in here. And also, again, this is the type of thing that, you buy a project and it's all in boxes, all the parts, someone else took it apart, you have no clue where anything goes. This is what you want to have. So guys, hopefully this little tip here will help you out. And I'm sure it will, especially if you've got a car that you bought that all the parts are sitting in boxes. And yep, this is a great tool to have. So take care. Please hit that like button, subscribe to the channel. More good stuff coming your way. Thanks a lot.